Okay.
Getting a signal for,
I am actually getting a signal.
so I was trying to look up his find grave.
Oh. We are at the General George Armstrong Custer Monument. We are in New Rumley, Ohio. And Custer was born in New Rumley. And we just drove through New Rumley, and there ain't much to New Rumley. So I'm assuming that Custer joined the Army as a way of getting out of New Rumley. But at the Custer, and I do not think he was born here in this spot. But in here, end of town here, we have the General George Armstrong Custer, born in New Rumley, 1839, killed in battle with the Indians on the Little Bighorn, June 25th, 1876. The statue was put up in 1931. So there he is. I don't think Custer was not a general when he died. He was a colonel, wasn't he? I believe he was given a general rank as a brevet during the Civil War, and then once you're awarded a brevet rank during a wartime, you sometimes revert back to your old rank once the war is over, and I believe that is what happened to Custer. I believe, even though this monument says General George Armstrong Custer, I believe that when he died, he was a colonel. I think that strikes me. But there he is, George Armstrong Custer, and then down there in that white building down there, which is closed, it's almost 9 o'clock, I think. Down there is a Custer Museum, which we will not be going to because it's closed. But we have here all about George Armstrong Custer. Let's see what this all says. Born in New Rumley, Ohio. There he is. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, there's his boy. Okay, so there's 1839 to 1857. Let's see. Oh, looks like maybe some relative of his established the town of New Rumley in 1813. Let's see, Okay, the original house was torn down in 1894, and another house was built on the site. Oh, okay, so he was born on this site. He was born here. Yeah, he's born right here. They said the original house he was born in was torn down in 1894, and another house was built on the site. When the property was designated a state memorial in 1932, the existing house was moved down to a new location. Archaeological excavations have revealed stone foundation. The house footprint, which you see around you, which I assume is this, is what is the result of those excavations and additional historical research. It designated what is believed to have been the placement of the original Custer home. So I guess these bricks here are the outline of the house he was born in. And then there's his wife. After he died, his wife was very active. One of the reasons Custer is remembered as a hero as opposed to the bumbling, mistake-ridden commander that he actually was historically. I mean, he made a lot of mistakes leading up to his death, and then he made many more mistakes that led to his death. He made a lot of blunders in the Civil War, too, as a commander. But his wife spent most of the rest of her life, I believe she lived into the 1900s. He died in 1876. I think she died in 1933. She died in 1933. So she spent the next 60 years after he died kind of fighting to preserve his memory and have him be remembered as a great commander as opposed to a kind of a goof a little bit. He had no reason to be dying at Little Bighorn if he had just done his job appropriately. He made a lot of mistakes sending guys places they didn't need to be, and et cetera, et cetera. There he is with West Point. I believe he finished second to last in his class. Almost always the bottom of his class. Rarely studious, on the verge of dismissal with the maximum number of demerits. I think he may have graduated second to last in his class from West Point. And still, I mean, graduating second to last from your class in West Point, pretty damn good. But he did graduate second to last in his class. And then there he is in the civil. What's that?
He's still graduating.
He, as I said, graduating second to last in your class from West Point is still graduating from West Point. Then here he's in the Civil War. There were a couple. He did a couple of interesting things in the Civil War. He had some spy missions or scouting missions. Actually, he is here. A picture of him. He went up in a balloon to spy on the Confederate lines. And then he was a general in the Civil War. I am almost positive. Yes. Okay. Here we go. 1866, Major General Custer was mustered out of the U.S. Volunteers and reverted to his regular Army rank of captain. When Congress expanded the Army, he received a higher grade. He was a lieutenant colonel. So, yeah, he was a general during the war, but that was only for the war. And they bumped him back down. 1873, he was fighting Indians. And there's Little Bighorn. And we all know how that one ended. So, yeah, he did. And he kind of fucked that up. He fucked up, if you read about Little Bighorn from a military standpoint, he kind of fucked that one up. He sent guys where they didn't need to be. He greatly underestimated his opponent and got himself and a lot of his men killed with him. So,
All of them.
all of his men. Reno and Benteen's guys didn't all die, but they got their asses kicked pretty good. He separated his troops when he shouldn't have. He assumed he also assumed that they were like savages and they weren't going to fight with strategy and things, and they did, and he blundered into a trap and they killed him. And one of the things that his wife here, the myth of Custer's last stand, you've probably seen pictures and paintings of Custer and his men huddled around each other behind dead horses on the hill, standing bravely in the face of the Indian charge and firing to their last bullet before being cut down. That's totally not what happened. Archaeological research of the Little Bighorn battlefield has shown that they broke and ran, just like any human being would when faced with that. They all ran and they were cut down. A lot of them were hit in the back. A lot of them were cut down as they fled. There was no heroic last stand at Little Bighorn. So anyway, this is the birthplace of George Armstrong Custer, and there's a museum in that building over there, but we're not going there. Got a nice little picnic area down here too. I wonder if are those outhouses? I think those are outhouses. Bet those weren't here when Custer was here.
Oh, they had outhouses.
But I bet not those two. And it probably wasn't a grill. There's a grill down there too.
Probably not.
Anyway,
Certainly not 50 flat stars on the flag.
Carlene, we are in New Rumley, Ohio. It's just west of Pittsburgh. Actually, more than a little bit. It's a little bit west of Pittsburgh. Very small town in Ohio, birthplace of George Armstrong Custer. So anyway, hope everyone has a good evening.